2, 1. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Aaron here, and today we're back with episode 2 of Online Head-to-Head, but this time with a little bit of surprise. JJ, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, JJ. So, actually, what he is here to do today is he's going to be commentating the game for us, and just honestly making it a better enjoyment for y'all to sit back, relax, and enjoy the gameplay. So, you doing good, JJ?
Absolutely. And today, my friend Aaron is going to be playing with the New York Giants. In real life, they currently hold the number 2 pick as Orleans Darkwood goes to the edge, cuts it back inside, and he is caught by Jerron Hargraves. So
Alright, that's good
you have
shit.
the number 2 overall pick. They are mocked to get either Josh Rosen from UCLA, the quarterback, or Saquon Barkley, the running back from Penn State. So, we got Eli Manning in the shotgun. He's going to hike this football. He has a
What
man
the?
open, but he just overthrows it. And that's one of the reasons they're going after a quarterback in the draft, the inconsistency of Eli Manning.
True that, JJ. So, the reason we're, never mind. Should I tell them the reason we're doing the Giants or no?
Yeah, go ahead. Just go ahead.
The reason we're doing the Giants is because we're going to keep it in a certain order, where we're going to do, by the order of the draft. So that's how we're going to play it, as every pick is going to be, the next episode is going to be, what is it going to be, JJ?
It's going to be the Colts. So if you follow like the mock drafts in real life, just look at the format, like who picks next. So it'd be the Colts, for example, as Eli Manning finds Odell Beckham on a slant. So in real life, the number 3 pick would be to the Indianapolis Colts. So they would be the next team.
And what a challenge that will be.
Absolutely. You got a team with limited playmakers on both sides of the ball, as Orleans Darkwa finds daylight, but the darkness came and erupted in front of his face in the form of Malcolm Mitchell. Now, one of the challenges here with the Giants is their offensive line is atrocious.
Damn.
As you saw right there with Eric Flowers, one of the worst left tackles in football. What's funny is he was a right tackle at the University of Miami.
But if they can, maybe, if they can real life handle it, then maybe I can just try to power through it, you know?
Yeah, they do have a couple of offensive linemen entering free agency. As you throw a pick there to Joe Hayden, the former Cleveland Brown.
And what a guy he is.
Absolutely. A lot of people thought he would be signing with the New England Patriots when he was released, but found his way with the Steelers. Pretty solid year. He was injured for a good portion of it. And now we got the Pittsburgh Steelers, 2 tight ends set. Le'Veon Bell in the backfield with Roosevelt Nix. Meanwhile, for Aaron, he shows a blitz. And even though he shows his hand, he ends up winning that battle. Le'Veon Bell, 2-yard gain. And what about Le'Veon Bell? Let's talk about him. Let's keep it in perspective here.
Well, honestly, JJ, I'll let you go.
I was going to say, he's a free agent. Most likely will get tagged, but when will they just give him a long-term contract?
Honestly, believe it or not, I think this year is the year that he's getting a contract.
You would have to imagine. I mean,
after everything
2 years of being franchise tagged. Absolutely, I agree.
Now, the thing about Le'Veon Bell that makes him so special is his patience. He can just sit back there and he don't care. He just sits back there and he, you know, he ain't like anybody else. He'll just not want to do nothing. He'll sit there and he'll make a play.
Absolutely. One of the most disciplined running backs in the NFL. His patience, his ability to bounce outside, his quick burst of speed in the open space. LaShawn McCoy, but that's about it. Not even on Le'Veon's level. And another thing that makes him special is he can line up as a receiver and get you in the air as well. And we're seeing that a lot with running backs. I feel like Le'Veon started the trend. You look at guys like Devontae Freeman and Alvin Kamara, they're kind of extending that. As Le'Veon Bell extends this play, Eli Apple with the shoestring tackle.
Woo! All right. Sorry about that, guys.
It's all right. I got a lot of words in there. The Giants, there are a lot of position needs. You know, you look at quarterback, potentially running back, since they're running back by committee, linebacker. But one thing they do not need is defensive ends. They have Jason Pierre-Paul and Olivier Vernon. A lot of money tied up between those two defensive ends.
Yes, yes, you are right, JJ. A lot of money.
They kind of took a page out of Jacksonville's book as well. They started to spend money on defense, and look how it paid out for them. You know, they went to the AFC Championship game. They beat this team, the Steelers, to do that, as Le'Veon spins off a defender, and he is brought down there on the play by B.J. Goodson.
Alright, so 3rd down and 13, guys. I'm going to play a little bit of... I'm going to play Tampa 2, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this middle linebacker.
Hopefully he can bait him into a bad throw. Or just stretch it to the outside, and Le'Veon, man, I think they sealed the edge just right, that defense. You saw there with the secondary, Martavius Bryant was blocking the safety, and he just set the edge perfectly. Chris Boswell going to take his 3 points right here. The kick is good. What about the Steelers? What do you think they need to do on draft night? They have a high pick. Keep that in mind. Or a low pick, I should say.
Honestly, at this point, I believe they can go with whoever they personally thinks necessary. Me, I've always been a defensive guy. I would keep on trying to work on that defense, you know, look through the weaknesses, you know, just hit on that. But obviously, I'm not a GM. You know, we're both not GM, so we can't say, you know, we don't know what they're going to do. There won't never be a way we can find out till draft night.
Absolutely, and as much as I'd want to be a general manager, I think you're right. I think defense is the pick. Continue to beef up that defensive line and the linebacking core. As Orleans Darkwood continues to run on this defense. They drafted T.J. Watt last year out of Wisconsin, one of the better pass rushers in the draft position. I think this year they could probably add to it.
Yes, you're right. Now, what about the Giants? What did they need to do to, say, quote-unquote, be successful in this year's draft?
I think they need to get all these picks right. And what I mean by all these picks is you want to get your first 3 rounds right. You know, your 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds, you kind of want to get the best guy available. Speaking of best guys available, look at Odell Beckham there with that swag.
Yes, would agree.
Anyway, with the 2nd overall pick, you need to get that right. It's a high draft pick. The Giants have not been there in years drafting from that position. They need to get it right. And in the 2nd round, they have the 34th overall pick. And believe it or not, 34 is still a high draft pick.
Yes.
They need to get that right. Take the best guy available. Get yourself a playmaker. Maybe a good offensive lineman that slipped. Because there will be those prospects that slip because of the combine. Let me tell you something. In-game speed is different from 40-yard dashes.
And what a horrible performance that was by our left tackle.
Eric Flowers. I'm not even going to talk about him. I already mentioned him. That's another position the Giants desperately need is tackle. That is one position they're thin and weak at. As we approach the 2-minute warning in the red zone. Both have interesting nights. They will be completely different drafts in my opinion. You got one team that's trying to reboot itself. You got another team trying to reload for next season.
Damn.
Well, what about the landscape in the NFC? I mean, virtually every team except probably Arizona right now has a quarterback.
True that, JJ. Hell, you could even make the case for every team in the NFC is a powerhouse at this point.
Absolutely, and it's not getting any easier. That's the thing. You look at even teams like Chicago and, you know, Washington. They may be bottom feeders, but let me tell you something. They got some strengths.
What?
Brandon Marshall, one of the signees for the Giants last year, got a 2-year, $12 million contract. But yeah, like I was saying, you look at teams like the Bears and the Redskins, I mean, they have a lot of strengths. You look at the Bears on the defensive side of the ball, they're underrated. I think their front seven's really talented. Their secondary's young but can improve. You know, you look at a team like the Redskins, yeah, they don't know what they're doing with Kirk Cousins, but their defense is underrated as well. So the landscape could change just like that. I mean, look at who our Super Bowl champs was. It was Philadelphia. They were 7-9 the previous season. As Rhett Ellison is going to get a catch on third down. What a tackle right there by Artie Burns.
A defense loves to hang their hat on that, don't they? You get a guy that catches the ball, but you stop him for no gain.
Without a doubt, because they're also used to.
If Aaron hits this, it'll be a tied ball game, 3 apiece.
That turns into what? A huge play. We've seen it so many times. In this case, though, catch was made, put down right on the spot.
And Charles, they get the field.
Now, I know we've spent a lot of this talking about the draft and how they can improve in the draft and commentating this game. But what about free agency? Should they try to get some of the positions early in the free agency period in less than 2 weeks?
For which team we're talking about?
Both of them. We can start with the Giants since they pick higher. I mean, what could they do in free agency to get a head start?
I mean, hell, it seems like I'm gonna have to say the same thing as last year. After you get that quarterback, just get a receiver that can help Odell. We thought it was gonna be Brandon Marshall, but I guess not.
And he could be on the verge of getting cut. And you have Sterling Shepard. I think he's a pretty damn good receiver, but man, you just need one more dude. You just need another guy, and they need to go after a linebacker. And I think a guy from the Detroit Lions by the name of Tahir Whitehead may be the right guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tahir Whitehead, honestly, a very underrated player.
And something I would even do for the New York is get some corners, man. Get some corners that can help out more than their. Obviously, you could keep guys. Who would you keep so far? If you had to get rid of every corner except for one.
The guy I would keep is probably Janoris Jenkins. Eli Apple just hasn't panned out as the 10th overall pick. I think Giants fans are very upset with his play. You look at DRC, he'll be 33. I think him going back to Arizona, where it all started, could make sense.
Yep.
I would keep Janoris Jenkins. I mean, he was a steal from the Rams a few years ago, and he's played well. He has gotten burnt, but he's not afraid to take the #1 receiver. And sometimes you just need corners like that, guys who are not afraid to take the #1 receiver. And in this upcoming free agency period, we got a couple guys like that. We got Tremaine Johnson. We got Malcolm Butler. All potentially free agents. What about the Steelers, though? If they want to get a competitive edge on teams that haunt them, like New England, how could they do that?
Well, honestly, JJ, that is... Find a better way to reword that question.
Okay, for the Pittsburgh Steelers to get themselves in a championship contending position, what more do they need to do to get the upper hand on a team like New England?
You want my honest opinion, JJ?
Yes.
Honestly, JJ, I feel like they already have what it takes to beat the Patriots, but they can't. But something's not right. They just never come out top. Honestly, I feel like Pittsburgh could easily beat them if they could just play how they know and they can play.
And I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I feel like there's just something missing, but I can't quite figure it out. Because you look on paper, you know, if everything was just judged on paper, I feel like the Steelers have a better roster, better talent. But there's just something missing. I mean, I think Mike Tomlin's a good coach. You know, say what you will about him.
Maybe teams should start following the Patriots way. I mean, don't go out there and try to have superstars. Just go out there and have guys. And, you know, all the guys just come together and actually make something.
And another thing is simple business as well. And we've seen Belichick do this with players like Chandler Jones and Jamie Collins. Get rid of them a year early, not a year too late. You look at Chandler Jones, yes, he's thriving in Arizona, but little things like that. And then you look at another guy in Jamie Collins. He would have been like the third best linebacker on the team if they paid him that much money.
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So Bill Belichick, that's what he tried to do with Brady. He wanted to keep Garoppolo and trade Brady, but the organization just wasn't having it.
Yep.
So besides the New England Patriots, who poses the biggest threat to the Pittsburgh Steelers right now?
To the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah, besides
I mean,
New England, who poses?
obviously JJ, it has to be the Browns.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, look, they got to get the #1 pick right eventually.
Oh,
That's Martavius Bryant, who is apparently on the trade block.
Yes, it is reported that he is.
What if a team like Cleveland bid on him? I know they're division rivals and everything, but if the deal's nice, you can't pass it up.
True.
I'm pretty sure they can get a third-round pick for Martavius Bryant. It's not too much. Devaluing him either. As Jonathan Casillas comes in on a blitz. But yeah, besides New England, who poses a big threat for real? I mean, the Browns one day, but for real.
I mean, throw some options out there on the table because you can go different routes with it.
Based on this season, would you say Jacksonville entering next season?
Yes, that is actually a perfect example. I didn't know if that's the route you would want to go, but Jacksonville would be my #1 pick. I mean, you can't after you see what they are capable of.
All right, what about a healthy Houston Texans with Deshaun Watson playing at the same level he was last year? Would it be too early to call?
They still don't have the talent. They just need a couple more guys, and they're there. They can be there, but they just need to make sure.
I feel like if they improve their secondary, they'll be there. As that is a failed fade route. All right, let's talk about some big news. I know we talked about this off camera, but another team that we probably would have considered competition for Pittsburgh, but Kansas City, they traded Marcus Peters, one of the best young corners in the league. What are your thoughts on him going to the Rams, and what is Kansas City's plans by doing this?
I mean, obviously we don't know the full deal yet. It's just in works, as reported. But let's just say
by March 14th.
that they don't get that much from it. Rams won the trade. I mean, you can pretty much go ahead and say it, but we don't necessarily know what the Rams gave up yet. So, we still have to, just keep on following reports and keep on only knowing what we know. But as of right now, you would think that somehow the Rams just dominated the trade.
I think the Rams win the trade as long as they're able to re-sign him.
Yeah.
Because he is on a one-year deal. He's going to be finishing up his rookie deal this season. And, I'm pretty sure y'all know Aaron's a Falcons fan, and I'm a Green Bay fan. I know, right? Tell me about it. He was one of my favorite prospects coming out of college, was Marcus Peters.
Yes.
And he was 8 picks away from being a Packer. But he did end up going to Kansas City. He has 19 interceptions in 3 years, which is incredible. That's like Deion Sanders numbers. And it's just crazy. As he just completely jumped on Ryan Shazier. Probably broke his neck.
That was awesome.
That was cool. But yeah, Marcus Peters, one of the best young corners in the game. I mean, we talk about Jalen Ramsey. I love Jalen Ramsey. I think he's another special player. Talk about Marshawn Lattimore, who came out last year, Tre'Davious White. Marcus Peters, man, in the last 3 years, what he has done in terms of playmaking and ball hawk, capabilities, it's remarkable.
Yes, yes it is. Honestly,
and the Rams
my choice
definitely.
was I didn't think Marcus Peters was going to be that good coming out of college, unlike you. I thought, obviously, I guess I didn't see potential and I didn't see what he could be, but You know, I guess I was wrong.
Yeah, and it's okay. Look, I've been wrong on players before. And, and it's really hard to spot a bust unless they go to a bad team. It's hard to look at all these different variables. But when I spot talent, and I brag about it. But Marcus Peters, I just thought had something special from the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, he was a ball hawk. He was a playmaker at Washington, which was turning into a powerhouse over there in the West. Or not necessarily, at least a contending Pac-12 team. And you look at guys that came from that school like Kevin King, who's on the Packers now. Hopefully he progresses into something. You look at Danny Shelton, who plays for the Browns. You look at Sidney Jones, who is a Eagles corner. You look at Buda Baker. I mean, they're starting to get some talent out of that school. And one of the draft prospects this season, Vita Vea. So Washington is producing some good defensive players. So who knows, man? But I think Marcus Peters will do good for the Rams. Wade Phillips loves him some physical corners.
Yes. So how you
We
feel
saw
about the
it
game
with.
so far?
I feel good about it. You know, entering the fourth quarter, a 10-point lead, 4th and 15, he goes for it. I feel like if you hold him here, you definitely got the game. You hold him and you score a touchdown, you got this. And I'm sorry if we haven't been talking about the game a whole lot. I just like to have these like chats and these discussions.
I'm gonna make him
as
think
I'm
that nose wide
commentating.
open.
Yeah, kind of bait him into it. There we go. There's the pass breakup. We need it.
All right.
He tried to go Hail Mary on you with Tampitude, which he should have probably caught.
I know how to stop that shit though. You gotta just throw
Yeah.
that middle linebacker.
Here we go on the full house set. X is wide open, but he throws it to Ingram. Who they're saying it's incomplete. X, by the way, with Orleans Darkwa. Yeah. What do you feel? How do you feel about the Giants? You know, they fired Ben. They brought in Pat Shermer, and for those who don't know who Pat Shermer is, he was the Minnesota Vikings offensive coordinator, aka the guy who made Case Keenum look better than what he actually was. So,
I mean, I like them.
how do you feel about some
now?
new blood coming in?
I guess, as always, with everything new, I guess time will tell if it was good or not. Ooh.
That was a good throw if it was like at the 25-yard line.
Right.
I'm just saying because he went in the back of the end zone. Like, that would have been a perfect throw.
Yeah.
But no one came open for him. Nice job by the defense of not getting out of their lanes.
All right. So fourth quarter, 4-6. If I can get this touchdown, it's over.
3rd and 10. Shane Vereen checks into the game. Eli Manning going to go at play action to Vereen. He's weighing his options like he's a free agent or something. Eli scrambles, and he's going to throw it away. Smart move because he almost ran out of bounds. Eli Manning has a 55% completion percentage as he goes 11 for 20 throwing in the game so far.
And I'm glad that my defense has been able to keep us in it. I mean, obviously it is the offense that has scored, but you know.
Defense has to do their part too. Now this puts the pressure on him. He has to at least get 2 touchdowns to win with the extra points pending.
Yes, you are right, JJ. You are definitely right.
However, if he gets a touchdown, you recover the kick and you melt the clock down, you know, you could put yourself in a better position.
Or I can just get a pick 6 and in the game.
There you go. Make him rage quit. I like that.
Alright. Let's do some commentating.
All right, here we go. Kneel down in the end zone by Fitzgerald Toussaint. And now Pittsburgh, 13-point deficit, 4.5 minutes to play. Make something happen. But the way the Giants defense has been playing it, it's nearly impossible. I mean, they got a field goal on the, what was it, the first or second drive, and that was really it.
The coach saying, I believe in my offense. Sometimes the coach saying, I believe in my defense. I can afford to go for it here.
What do you think he's doing?
I think he's going to show the best plays possible. On this drive, you just got to show him the best plays. Or maybe he's just going to let the clock run out. Who knows?
Play clock down to 0. This is not the way to start a drive. They were trying to create some space.
First and 15. Hopefully he picks a play. You know, you would hope this is not his way of quitting. Because that's a terrible ending to the video.
That often runs you into a penalty.
Ah, don't end like this now. Wow.
What a terrible way to do it.
Is this how he ends it?
I mean, if I were, you know, he should just unplug the Xbox, but, you know,
PlayStation.
whatever. PlayStation, my fault. I'm so used to people saying unplug the Xbox, it's like, it's like a meme, almost. Oh yeah, you're gonna unplug the Xbox.
Hell, it's a victory. I mean, if he leaves, it's a victory.
It's a dub. If only it was in Fortnite.
A dominant performance by this New York team. Alright, he's back.
Can't believe I said Xbox and it's just PlayStation. I know, it's a meme, people. It's a meme. This is a nice little formation right here for a 5 wide. Le'Veon Bell lined up right next to his right tackle. First and 20. And what a leaping interception by Deontay Thompson. The Connecticut graduate.
Baby!
And he has quit the match. It's a dub. The NFL draft order now 2-0.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. I had fun with JJ.
Absolutely. And don't forget, the next one will be with the Indianapolis Colts.
We'll see. Anything you want to say?
No, like I said, the next one will be with the Indianapolis Colts. And be on the lookout for some more Madden content in the future.
Yes, what a great dub. I hope y'all have a good night. Thank you and goodbye.